Hey, this is Ricky Kennerly Cichlids. This is my first live stream. I don't actually know where to look at the camera, but the Frontosas are showing up good. And I kind of started this live stream without a set time at first, and so it got started now. So we'll look at it. We'll see if anybody joins. I think we got 3 people joining already. That's pretty good. And I'm going to see if I can get my iPad going here to see the chat. I'm not sure how to do that. Let me look at the chat here. Alright, now I got the chat going. Look at the Frontosas behind me. Look at how good they're looking. Now recently, I've changed this to a Matten filtration system. And I'll show you real quickly. You look up here, the flow is going really well. I changed the pump to get it going a little bit better flow. It's going really well. The Frontosas are looking really good. And I also have changed the... Hey, we got Jay Carrington saying hey, so that's cool. I got at least one person in here. You got Adam C checking me out. That's really cool. So I want to show you also that and filtration on my grow out tank. If you look here, it's looking excellent. Excellent. Very little debris. I've had to do a lot less maintenance on this aquarium since I put the Matten filtration in there. If you look at the back, I don't have to have a background. The Matten filter is the background. If you look at the top, you see the nice flow going. It's very inexpensive and I'm really glad to have it. So let's go back to the Frontosa tank. Let me get me in the picture here. So this is my first time doing the let's see here, Timber Lug said nice tank man. If you look over here, you see Whopper. Well, right here is Whopper, looking really good. The Frontosas have been doing a lot better with the Matten filtration. And if you look, the blues are really coming out too. Now I noticed when I did when I first set up a sponge filtration without a Matten filtration, one of the sponge filters that had not been set up took 6 weeks to really kick in. So it's only been about 2.5 weeks on this Matten filter. So I think within about 4 more weeks you're going to see a big difference. Big difference. Now let's see if I can, right there you can see, let me see, right here is Changer. That's my unusual Frontosa. Alright, now I'm opening some questions. No one's asked any questions yet. See if I can get any questions going out of y'all. Appreciate it. Got 8 people here. That's better than I thought. I thought I'd only have like 1. We got Rick Robinson says hi from Chilliwack, British Columbia, Canada. Juan Rodriguez said nice grow out tank. Now I can switch back to the grow out tank if y'all want to look at that more, if you have any questions about it. The males, there is a male in here that I may have to take out. If you see him, he's quite big and I only really want 1 male. Let's see if I can find Whopper again. Let's see here. Whopper is in hiding. Alright, now I can see him. Whopper is in hiding. Let's see if I can get you to down here. Look at him back here. So I'm actually wanting to change. Well, there's only 1 male in here. So next time I sell Frontosas, I'll probably take that bigger male you see right. Let me get my finger up here. Right there. Out of there. Dave Z Fish Room says looking good, Ricky. The substrate has been doing great. Now, what I like about the Matten filtration, I thought I was going to have a problem with. If you look over here on the black, I thought that was going to get covered with debris. and look really brown and gross looking. But you see there's some snails right here on the Matten filter. When the lights go out, it gets covered, and it takes care of all that debris. It takes care of the brown yuccas, and it keeps clean almost every day because the snails clean that off. So does anybody have any questions for me or want to say anything? I'm not real good at this. This is my first live stream, so I wasn't real prepared. I just kind of turned it on and see who would show up. Now if you look at back here in the Frontosas, I have a lot of caves. Alright, Rick Robinson says I have a small colony of Frontosas. They are approximately 7 months old or so. Let me... And other than the hump on the head, how do you sex these fish? Well, they have to be so old for you to be able to vent them. You can do venting. The males have, ow, my cat is biting me right now. I have to show you my cat. So here's my cat down here. She's biting me just like crazy while I'm doing this filming. You have to watch out for cats during YouTube live streams. So basically, if they're 7 months old, you can vent them, and if they're a male, they're gonna have one big opening and one small. But even the experts say that's very hard to do. So a lot of times you have to look to see if you buy them all at the same time and they're from the same group, your male is going to grow faster. They always grow faster. They're longer. The females are wider this way. Would you ever have any other? Yes, Dave Z Fish Room said, would you ever have any other African cichlids? Yes, I would, and I am going to get some more. But let me finish answering this question about the males. The males are longer. They do have humps. Now, I've had a few females that have a little bit of a hump, but it was not as dominant. If you see the whopper here, his node is very big. And if you see, let's see if I can find this one over here, it's pretty dominant. The females are wider this way. They don't go as long this way. That's one way. It's not a science. Even the experts have a hard time in sexing these. A lot of times you have to observe your fish and see how they react. If there's fighting going on, it could still be a male and a female, but two males are easier to fight than a male and a female. But if you've watched my video on how the Frontosas get to know each other, I had a female and a male lip lock and actually have a big battle, and then like a few days later they actually bred, and I actually collected the babies from those. As far as other African cichlids I'd like to have some hongi. You know, they're really cool fish and they're not hard to keep. It's a mabuna. I've had those at a hatchery I worked at, and I bred those there, and they just look really good, and they're amazing. They're easy to keep, easy to breed. There's other bigger fish I'd like to, maybe like to have in the future, depending on the how they looked and so forth. I have bred some flower horn cichlids in the past. I had 3 pairs. Now the flower horns you see right now, in the hobby right now are nothing like they had back then. Mine were not that great. Audio and visual are great. That's good. That's good, because I'm actually doing this from my phone, and since some videos are being streamed with the family, I'm using a data stream from my phone service. Hi from Ontario, Canada, Robert Grima. Glad you can join me. Appreciate y'all joining in. There's a lot of cichlids I like to have. I mean, everybody can go into a store and say, hey, that's the one I want. you can see one and say right then I'm getting them, and that's normally what happens when I get fish. But the hongi is one I definitely want in the future, but I've got so much breeding projects going on now. I'm gonna take some of my Frontosa grow out tanks and have it to all male peacocks. I'm gonna have another all male dragon blood aquarium. I'm gonna have an all male icebreaker aquarium. And that's gonna be, I think a lot of people will really enjoy that, because if you just looked at one fish icebreaker, yeah, he looks cool, but if you could see 20 of them, that'd be pretty impressive. So that's where I'm really focused on, is all my breeding projects to have display tanks of them. Robert Grandma, I'm using crab meat now on my Burundi fronts. How do they like it, Robert? How often do you feed them? We'll wait till Robert gets back with us on that. So the artificial crab meat, I'm stuck on that. Robert says he loves it. I guess the Frontosas love it. I feed them every other day, and at one time I noticed that they were a little bit slow to eat, so I actually skipped 2 days, and it was just fine. So every once in a while I monitor what I feed. Alright, so Robert feeds his crab meat once a week. That's pretty good, and they will make a big difference on the growth. Have you noticed anything as far as coloration or any growth on them, Robert? So we got the inquisitive fish guy. I know he wants to ask a question or two. He's my buddy from way back. Pellets in between. Yeah, pellets are good. I just got to where I wanted to try something that I got my fish to breed, and I'll actually show you something I wasn't expected to show you. Down, let's see here, using bloodworms and supplement with flakes. Colors brighter on the blues. That's cool. So let's look down here. Let me get this here. My cat's biting my foot right now, so I'm sorry about the shakiness of the camera. But down here, this female here, which is toe, is now holding again. Okay, let's see here. Because the fish guy said something here. The same crab meat from the original crab meat feeding video. Yes, I have tried a different type. It didn't work as well. I didn't think it kept as well either. So that brand that I used from the original feeding video is what I use. You can get it from the super centers, Walmart super centers, and it works really good. Now there's other brands out there probably be just as good, but I did try a cheaper brand and I did not like it as well. It was a flake instead of legs. I didn't like it as well. So you may have to experiment with what you get. Robert Grandma, North Fin pellets we use up here in Canada. Yeah, North Fin is really good. I was on a budget until a few days ago. I have been without a job for several months. So a lot of the things I've been doing with my fish had to do with a budget, and I'm glad it did. Like, because of my budget, I got to use the Matten filtration on this aquarium, my grow out aquarium, another Frontosa aquarium, and I'm actually going to put it in 2 55-gallon aquariums this weekend. Rick Robinson uses Omega-1 pellets and flakes here. Yeah, I've used Omega-1 before, and it works good. I haven't used flake food with my Frontosas. They haven't really been eating too much flake food for me. The original Frontosas, which Whopper is one of the original Frontosas, he's quite old. Originally, I had to feed them algae wafers. They wouldn't eat anything else. I tried plenty of good foods, and they wouldn't eat it. And they would eat algae wafers. But then I tried the crab meat, and they love that, and I'm now back to switch to it. So let's go look over here at the grow out aquarium again, and maybe we'll even look at the Maboon aquarium since it's in a good room. And then I'm going to probably cut this short unless anybody's got some more questions. If you got more questions, we'll keep it going. So if you look over here, got my Mabuna aquarium. I did change some things. Added this big sponge filter instead of that smaller one because I used a smaller one for Matten filtration. Eventually I'm going to turn Frontosa 55 gallon into just Cichlid, which they're the yellow ones and the blue ones. And then this will be just a white lab Cichlid aquarium, the bicolor labs. I do want to show you that I did change the trash can I used for water changing. It is the Brute trash can. My other one burst and I had a flood in my den. I had to drag it out while it was flooding on the floor. So watch out if you do the method I use for doing water changes. You want to use a good trash can. How many tanks total do you have, Ricky? I have about 21 aquariums. I picked up a few because my dad quit taking care of them. Introducing new fronts to an existing colony is the question. How many fronts are you talking about, and are they the same size? Are you asking just one or two, or are you talking about 3 or 4, or what are you talking about? Robert Grama, are you asking me if I'm introducing new fronts? All right, Remy, greetings from Egypt. That's really cool. Around the pyramids and stuff. Robert Grama says I have a 12 and a 180. And you're wanting to introduce more of them? Well, I would do more than one. 2 or 3 at the at the minimum. I'd leave lights off for a whole day. I wouldn't make it a big size difference because if they're not of the same family, even though a lot of people think that Frontosas are real chill fish, they basically can still eat other fish, other Frontosas. Now, even for all the years experience I've had with Frontosas, I recently noticed that even if they're the same family, if they're really crowded and there's too many males, you can have some death with Frontosas. Even though everybody says they're a peaceful fish, there can be some major aggression. It hits hard. It can hit within an hour or overnight even. So don't be fooled by thinking these are just peaceful, graceful fish. They can really tear into each other, normally just one at a time, and then you have a dead fish. And if you're not breeding them and you're having to pay for them, it can get very expensive. Notice let's see here, get my finger here. Notice I got my UT flags up here. University of Tennessee, that's where I'm from. That's where I went to college at. Falls. Pretty cool. Anyways, I live close to there. I just got the UT shirt on here. So that's what this is going to be, my favorite shirt for any type of videos or live streams. John Tobes in North Bay, Ontario, California. Let's see here. My chat keeps on fading off. Are the same. One thing I noticed is no. From your son, take them apart and oil it. Well, these pumps you don't oil. They're just little electrical pumps that they use the vibration to make the noises. The noises doesn't bother me. It is a little bit louder for this aquarium because I changed the air pump, but eventually I'm going to use one and for the whole room, and it's going to save money, and I'm actually going to have more flow than you see up here at the top. You see all that flow? It's going to be more than that. It's going to use the Matten filtration in all my aquariums. That's what I'm liking. It's cheap and I can do it pretty easily. So I'm going to slowly build into that. and make sure it's something I'm wanting to do. I'm already going to add 2 more aquariums for the Matten filters. So air pumps is the way I'm going to go. Some people don't want the noise, but I'll look at that as I go. The noise doesn't bother me in this room. It's the den, and if I'm watching a movie down here, I just turn it up. That's right. What works for you is the most important, and what you observe from your fish is the most important. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm not. Mostly what I tell you is what I've observed from my own fish. I want to relate that to you. And sometimes you just want to look at my fish. I mean, they're pretty cool fish. Nice blues. The changer is a, that's a. Let's look at changer real quick. Changer is a. Where is she at? Right there she is. She's an oddball, and not everybody can see changer in other people's aquariums. So, some things I'm just showing you that you enjoy watching. It's not that I'm the best teacher in the world, but you can get ideas from each other. I get ideas from all type of YouTube channels. So if you got any more questions, if not, I'm going to end it in about 4 more minutes. I appreciate how many people showed up. If you haven't already, I actually got more thumbs up than people were here, so that's pretty cool. So if you got any more questions, send them to me here. Alright, let's take a look at the grow out aquarium once more. Give it a few more minutes. Maybe show my cat eating my foot. Fisherman Mike, hi! Fisherman Mike, how you doing? I want you to look at my cat eating my foot. She's down here. This is what she's been doing this whole live stream. Just biting my feet. Look at her. Do you have any canister filters at all? Well, basically, I had canister filters for all my aquariums. KZ Ellis gave me $5. All right, KZ, thanks for the super chat. I had canister filtration for all my aquariums. It got too tiresome to clean 22 aquariums, even if it's just once a month. I could take several days. During the winter time, I kind of got where I didn't want to clean them all out in my bathtub because of all the yuccas. So instead of doing that, I became interested in other methods that takes less time, less maintenance, and does really well for the aquariums. If you look at this aquarium, I mean, it's looking super great, and it's just using a Matten filtration. But yes, I had a lot of aqua tops. I've used fluval in the past, G6s. I spent a ton of money on those in years past, and they would clog up and flashlights at me, and the flow would stop, and I'd lose fish. KZ says, I absolutely love looking at them. I mean, having trouble keeping my cat up. And find your reasoning behind keeping changes in the lines. Very interesting. I love it. Thank you, KZ Ellis. That's what I really want. I want people who are interested with what I'm doing, and that's what I want to have as subscribers and viewers. Other people can, but it makes more sense if you enjoy what I'm doing here as far as mixing fish and breeding fish and line breeding, that you'll enjoy my channel. As far as cocoa catfish, I don't know. Now let me show you my Synodontis here. Let me find them real quick. I'm looking, they're huge. I don't know why I can't see them. Oh, here's one. If you look behind, well, this Frontosa here, there's a Synodontis here. Those are the ones I'd recommend with Frontosas. Okay, right here's one. I couldn't, the camouflage right here. Here's a Synodontis. That's what I'd recommend with Frontosas, because they're from the Lake Tanganyika, and they're really really cool. And they get huge. Look at this one. This one's getting really big. So I don't know long term if I'm going to have them in this tank or not, because they can get absolutely huge and massive. So for right now, I'm hoping this is a female and that small one's a male. And when I'm stopped collecting so many Frontosas, when I'm raising them, maybe that they'll drop some eggs, so the Frontosas will pick them up. That's how they breed. The Frontosas actually picks up the eggs, and the Frontosas raises the catfish fry, the Synodontis, in their mouth. That's pretty cool. So I want to do that. That's why they're in there. But if they get too big, I may change that plan. 1-inch fronts here for $20, fish and pet store. Yeah, that's about basically what they go for when I sell them in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's about what they sell them for. Dave Z Fish Room, I enjoy your videos and really dig the live stream. I'm kind of just winging it because this is my first one. Yep, they eat the fry though. That's exactly right. That's, you know, what the intention of having these guys here is because they're gonna be way more than a few females in this colony. I'm hoping that you know, I don't think they'll be breeding as fast as the Frontosas, so a back here and there of the catfish would be really cool. It's not anything I'm, you know, worrying about. Now, I'm not going to let these Frontosas spit in here because they'll eat them. I've already tried that in this colony. I had a female spit in here and they were all eaten. So I know that won't work anyway. So if I'm going to get any fry out of here, I'll have to strip them. Here's a male here. I believe this to be a male. Yes, I use a tumbler. I use a cobalt tumbler. I used to use a DIY. It was a little bit of a hassle. It was homemade. It wasn't all that great. The cobalt, I used it where I used to work at a hatchery, and it worked great. Less problems. They look really cool. They hold up well. There's other ones you can use. That's just the one I have. I only have one because most of the fry that I collect, they survive, so I don't have a lot of spots for them. I also have 2D. As far as the Synodontis, these were bought at the same size, so I'm thinking that the bigger one's female and the smaller one's male. That's what I've kind of researched on, that the females actually gets bigger. The lighting, yes, I've asked some questions on the lighting, so there they are. That's one of them, two of them. These are Kessel LED lights that are 150 watts. They're not this year's model, they're last year's model. I used to get fish credit and store credit. I used store credit to buy these from the fish that I traded in. They can be a little bit expensive, but I've had these for about 3 years now, so they last a very long time. And the shimmer effect, you can see the shimmer effect in the aquarium. Now some people don't like that, but I think it's really amazing. I really enjoy it. Alright, I've gone a little bit longer than I was expecting. I appreciate it, especially Eric giving me that super chat. If y'all like this, when this turns into a video, leave some comments if you didn't ask any questions or anything. If you want more live streams, you know, give me some suggestions, because I just kind of winged it here. This is the first time I've started, so I appreciate everybody that's tuned in, and thank you very much. So this has been Ricky Kennerly Cichlids, where fish swim. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being there. Let's do some more. Yeah, I sure will. Alan Pham gives me a smiley face. All right, cool. Dave Z says good job. Thank you very much. Robert Gromer says appreciate this. I'll do more. Please give me more questions. I'm just learning about this live stream, so that's what I'm kind of interested in, just to show what you're wanting to see. If you're just wanting to see my fish, that's what I'm kind of doing right now. You know, I'm not all that great looking, you know, so my fish are pretty good looking. So this has been it. Thanks for watching.